Kayleigh and Kaylynne, thank you so much for being on the show. As we mentioned off air today, I am the coolest coach to my girls because you guys are on the show. So thank you for making me the coolest coach for the day. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having us, Coach.
We'll start off with Kayleigh. Why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourselves, where you guys from, and how did you first get into hoops?
Yeah, so Lynn and I we're born and raised in Houston, Texas. I'm pretty biased about it. I think it's the best city in the world. How we got into hoops is funny because my dad he would hoop with his brothers when he was younger, just in the parks and stuff, just for fun. I think that man's love for the game is just tremendous. He didn't realize that we get into it, but he had a couple basketballs laying around in the garage, and one day, I guess we were out in the garage and we started to pick up the basketball. I think my mom was telling me that I was the first one to pick the basketball, and we kind of just got into it. But nothing too serious. And so my mom thought it'd be a good idea just to stay fit and keep us active. So she signed us up for a little league, and that's where everything started happening.
Cool. And Lynn, what age do you guys start taking basketball seriously?
It wasn't until we got to middle school that's when we started taking it seriously, because my dad, it was funny because he was coaching our little league team, and before we made it to AAU and got into that, the coach was actually telling him, oh, I see potential in your daughters. I think your daughters can make it to college. But knowing us, we played basketball just to play basketball, and we didn't know anything about going to college for free or getting a scholarship for basketball. So my dad was like, are you serious? So he just kind of maybe brushed it off a little bit, and we continued to keep playing because we like playing. And then when we got to AAU and got into more serious competition, that's when colleges came out to watch one of our teammates, because she was older than us, and I was like, oh, this is a real stuff. So around middle school is when we got serious about basketball.
Okay. And what did your schedule start looking like when you guys decided to dedicate more time into it?
So I think it started out at an early age. I think we were dedicated from the beginning. It's just when we took it more serious was again in middle school. But when we were younger, it was every single day. After my dad came home from work, we would ask him to take us out to the park, then our nearby park, because we didn't have a gym space. And sometimes when he was too tired, we would ask our grandma to move the cars out from our driveway, because we had a basket up in front, and we would just ask her if she could move the cars and kind of on the street so we could play around a little bit. So it started off just at the park every single day, and then when we got to middle school, we met our coaches, and they would have gym space for us. So it was just mostly we would, on days we couldn't get the gym, we would go to the park again, and then on weekends when we had team practices, that's when we would get the gym. And our coach was a gym rat too, like us, so we stayed in the gym most of the day with her. But yeah, that was our schedule. We would come home from school, we would wait for our dad, do our homework, wait for our dad to come home. Once our dad got home, we would go to the park and practice with him outside.
Awesome. And Kayleigh, when you guys finished high school, Gonzaga is just such a prestigious educational institute as well as a basketball powerhouse. What made you guys want to head that way in terms of development as a person as well as basketball player?
Yeah, it was. We tell people all the time that we actually crossed Gonzaga off our list right at the beginning, because being from Texas, it's a big football state. And so Lynn and I wanted to go to the school with the football team. Come to find out, if we had our priorities straight from the beginning, we would know Gonzaga would stay on the list because it's such a big basketball community. And like you said, it's a prestigious school. Education there, but they both have what we wanted to do. And so I think the thing that kind of separated Gonzaga from the other schools is not just the basketball community itself, but number one was education, and two was Lynn and I wanted to continue to grow our faith. And it's a Jesuit Catholic school. So compared to the other schools, there's a church on campus, very convenient, compared to the other ones where we'd have to like leave campus, and some of these other campuses are so huge. And so we didn't think we could like find the time with these big campuses going from one end to the other and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, three of the biggest things is education, our faith, and it was a basketball community.
Excellent. And Lynn, a lot of people on our side of the world really want to know what a day in the life is like for a Division I player in college. And I know it can vary from different times of the year, but say, for example, during the fall when you're transitioning from preseason and starting going to season, what does a typical day look like for you?
So I'll take you through my like Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. I will have 3 classes in the morning, 9, 10, 11, and then right from when class ends at 11:50, I have to head over to the locker room to get changed for practice. And usually practice is 12 to 3. On the court, 12 to 2, and then 2 to 3 is weights. And then right after weights, I have to go to like college hall, one of my other classes, and I have to sprint over there because right at 3:00 it ends. 3:15 is my next class. And on Wednesdays was my longest days. Wednesdays I had a class from 5 to 7, so I wouldn't get back into my apartment until maybe 7:30, 8:00 at night. And then I gotta like try to find food in between. So that's my Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Tuesday, Thursday is a little lighter, where I have class 8 a.m. and then I will have like a break 9:15 to maybe 10:40, and we have 11 to 2 o'clock practice.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically my fall schedule leading up to spring. And then spring is a little lighter because we're traveling more with the team. But yeah, fall is crazy.
Yeah. So, and in terms of, I don't think a lot of people understand like how crazy the traveling can get. What does the travel schedule look like, especially when you're in season? Do you have to go around, fly from place to place, or can it get pretty crazy, the travel schedule?
So I mean, it can get pretty crazy, as in like we'll travel to Cali and then we have to stay in Cali to travel to another like Cali school. So we'll be missing class, and you know, some professors don't like when you miss class, so we gotta email all of them to make sure that, you know, to let them know we're gonna be missing class this day. And but traveling is nice because they charter. But other than that, I mean, traveling, everyone knows traveling can get really tiring, just getting on the plane, getting off the plane. And then Utah, it's like what, an hour difference sometimes. And then like at the elevation that they're at, we'll have to adjust our bodies. And yeah.
Okay. So with all this stuff, I mean, you guys are now juniors, right? You guys are both juniors in college.
We're about to be seniors.
You're about to be seniors. Okay. So since you're veterans now, what is one important thing that you guys wish you would have known? I'll start with you, Kayleigh, that you could have given yourself like some advice in high school. What's one thing that you know now that you didn't know in high school, but now you know the importance of it since you're veterans?
Yeah, I think being able to maintain or take care of your body. My treatment in high school was just to shower and then sleep. That's it. There was no like icing after the game, no stretching, you know. So coming into college, the intensity just turned up a couple more notches, and I would be dead tired even after practice. I'm like, we haven't even played a game yet, and I'm already sore. My body feels so broken after practice. It's just one practice. This is my freshman year. And just hearing from like the other seniors, treatment, taking care of your body is number one. It's so important, especially, when you want to continue just staying healthy. So cold tubs is number one. We definitely should have iced. We should have started right in high school, because now we're not big fans of cold tub. I hate being cold. But I forced myself because it definitely helps. And then just a lot of stretching. We just don't want to, you guys stretch. We can't just hop on the court and play 5 pickup games in a row without stretching like we used to as kids. You kind of go out and hang out with your friends. You really got to worry about stretching, but stretching is definitely important, especially before, give yourself some time to warm up, and just be ready for the fast-paced game. So I definitely treatment, taking care of your body is number one for me.
Cool. And you, Lynn?
Sheesh, that's a good one. I have a lot to tell my high school self if I could. But I think the biggest one is nutrition. I just, I know we're like working out at a very high intensity, and then we think we can eat whatever we want because it kind of cancels out. But I think just taking care of my body and eating and putting nutritious food that's like important for our recovery. I know Coach Mike talks a lot about that. Food for recovery is very important, and then sleep. Get enough sleep. In high school, it was funny. This is just a quick story, but before a game, we didn't eat. We forgot to eat, so we were like rushing to the game because we were at a prior appointment, and then our coach let us ride with our family. And when we got there, we were like, oh man, we didn't eat anything. Like, I'm so hungry. My mom ran out to the local, like, I think KFC or something, and got us fried chicken before a game. And our coach looked at us and she was like, are you serious right now? But yeah, and that's the story I'll always remember, because like who eats fried chicken before a game? It's like so heavy. And but we made it through the game. And now, I mean, I think I'm not dieting, which Coach Mike doesn't even push on us. Dieting isn't like what we're doing right now, but making sure we're eating like in between classes. We have a tight schedule already, and like I won't get home until 8 o'clock, and that's like way past dinner time. So I have to make sure I have snacks in my bags and make sure I eat like before workouts. So nutrition is really big for me.
Did you end up dropping 30 that game that you had KFC? Do you remember?
We had a pretty good game. I think we dropped 20 each maybe.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, so it works for some people, it doesn't work for other people. It definitely wouldn't work for me, but you guys are obviously on a different level. That's amazing. Kayleigh, you guys just came back from Vietnam. Tell me about that experience. Are you guys able to travel to Vietnam often, or is it was this a special time that you were able to go there? What were you guys doing there? What was one memorable experience for you, Kayleigh? And then we'll go to Lynn after that.
Yeah, so this year was special. I think everything aligned. We were asked to check out the Vietnam national team our incoming freshman year into college. And then COVID hit, and so we kind of lost contact with one of the directors. And so we're like, oh, just going through school and stuff. And then junior year comes, and then we reconnect. We get in touch again, and he's Coach Yerkes. He's telling us that the SEA Games is rolling up around again. And come to find out, Vietnam's hosting. So what are the odds? And we discussed this. At first, it wasn't really in our heads about it because we're worried about Gonzaga. We're still in season. And then my mom had asked us about it over the phone, and she was like, are y'all interested? If y'all aren't, then we can just tell him, we're probably not going to come. But, we've always talked about it when we were young, going back to Vietnam, playing basketball. And so junior year, I think it was okay. It wasn't that bad. I mean, we finished up, it was a great season at Gonzaga. And so we're like, you know what, let's do it. This is what we always talked about wanting to do. And, we're going to be back in Vietnam anyway. We're not traveling anywhere else. And so, I mean, it was such a great experience. Sometimes when I tell people about it, I like to go through the pictures, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, I want a replay button. I want to go back and experience it all again. But, we got a chance. That was our first time back, and we definitely got to immerse ourselves in the culture. Amazing is probably the word I would
Yeah.
use.
Was there one memorable experience that you'll remember for years to come?
One memorable experience, or memory, I guess, bringing the silver medal home. We were right there for gold on the 3-on-3. We were right there. We lost to a 3-point shot to Thailand, but bringing the first silver medal home for the women's side is probably the most memorable. But I think the people that we met along the way was just good people that made just winning that medal extra special too.
Nice. And how about you, Lynn?
I would definitely say the fans made it memorable. My favorite part was probably after the game, 5-on-5 games, we would have to go to the bus as a team, and it was just like fans lined up outside of the stadium, and then they would crowd the bus, so it would take a while for us to get out, and just it was an amazing feeling. Like 5-on-5, we almost got bronze. We almost placed for bronze, but we fell short. But like the games that we lost, it just felt like we won after, because we would walk out and they would start cheering. So I think my most memorable moment was just walking to the bus because of the fans.
Cool. Now, this next one, I'm sure a lot of people on our side of the world would love to hear your answer to this. But as Asian Americans growing up over there and being heavily involved in the basketball world, where there's not a whole lot of people that look like you guys or us in the game of basketball after a certain level, what was that like growing up and being in the field of basketball as Asian Americans?
I would say it gets lonely. I'm very fortunate to have Lynn with me, so anytime I get into the gym, it's not just me. But I can see how if somebody would want to pursue basketball as an Asian American, things can just feel like so big, like, and you just feel like the tiniest thing. It's because we struggle in a different way. We run into different obstacles. We get stereotyped, unfit or unathletic. We're always doubted. We're always last pick because of what we look like. So, and even if you make it to the highest level possible, I think we struggle in a different way. Whereas things are very minimalized. Our achievements, our successes are, put to the baseline. We can have the best game of our lives, outplay every single player on the court, and we wouldn't be given the respect that we deserve, because now we have to put 10 consecutive games, like 10 great games in a row, in order for somebody to start believing in us, Whereas, somebody else can have the best game of their lives and they're blowing up all over the news. Oh man, she just dropped like 30 points and yada yada. And with us, if we mess up, in the game of basketball, a player is bound to run into a bad game. We've all had that. There's no avoiding bad games. But you run into one bad game and people are so quick to just jump the boat. Oh, they can't do it. They had so many turnovers, or they couldn't produce for the team. And there's no pick-me-ups, whereas like somebody else would mess up and they're like, oh, it's okay. You got it the next game. Don't worry about it. So, everything's minimalized, and I feel like we're always put under a microscope. We have to perform. We have to be enough. We have to prove ourselves every time we step on the court. So that's something I feel Asian Americans have to go through. We always have to prove that we belong, and that one day where it turns bad, everything spirals. The 10 games that you had, great game, then you just throw it out. They throw it out the window and they forget about that game. And they just say, you know what? They had this one bad game. They can't do it.
And how about
So
you? Oh, sorry. I didn't know. I didn't
no,
know.
yeah, I was just gonna say the biggest thing is I think as Asian Americans we can get lonely because we struggle. We struggle in a different way where sometimes when we express ourselves, people don't understand what we go through, and so it's just kind of like I'm not talking to someone who understands. They can just be like, oh, it's okay, like I believe in you. Yeah, you do, but at the same time, I'm by myself. I'm going through this by myself.
How about you, Lynn? How do you what was your experience? How do you feel?
I feel the same way. It definitely does get lonely. I guess you know, most people don't understand what we go through, and like, I mean, even in high school, I have so many stories. It was just like people didn't think we can go D1 just because we're Asian, and I think if it was different, they would definitely be like, oh, what, like, do you want to go D1 instead of asking, oh, um you want to go D2 or D3? It's like, some people just don't think we could compete at the highest level. And that kind of hit hard just because, we put in so much work. We try to compete with like the best players and then just to get asked, which like, don't get me wrong, D2, D3 are great. All these opportunities for people to go to college and then compete at the highest level. But you know how we strive to be, the best. We strive to be great all the time. And so, those questions and then people doubting us kind of hit hard. But I'm grateful for just the adversity we had to face just because of who we are today. I think the adversity and pushing through the adversity made us the players and the people we are today.
You guys are held to a very high regard, and a lot of people look up to you within the United States and out of the United States. So, Lynn, what would be your message for Asian Americans as well as Asian girls who want to follow their dream and play basketball in college or beyond college?
I will tell them that first, I will tell them they're not alone. They will always have our support. We always support other Asian athletes to pursue what they want and just other passions and talents that they have. So first, they're not alone, and then second, just to keep pushing. I know, I know sometimes it'll definitely get hard where it makes you want to quit, but in the end, I feel like if you surround yourself with people who support you at your worst, then they'll be there at your best. And I think that's the most important thing because me and Lee, we're very fortunate to be surrounded by people that love us. And with that love, I think that helped us push through, the tough times and um, gave us chances and opportunities to play at like the higher level and just better ourselves to compete.
Lee, do you have any advice for Asian American and Asian girls looking to be the best that they can be in basketball?
Yeah, I would say to have a deep self-confidence. It all begins with you. If you don't believe in yourself, then who can start believing you? And just let them know that people will doubt no matter what. People will say something, on one side, and the other will say something on the other. And so just be able to believe in yourself, believe that you can do it, because at the end of the day, nobody else can really help you get through the adversity. You have to get through it yourself. People can just support you. Just not being ashamed of being Asian American, being Asian, playing in these sports, because we can definitely compete.
You mentioned, Lee, about someone can have 10 great games and then they're written off right when they have that one bad game. How does someone bounce back from being judged and being and being scrutinized and having their self-confidence pushed out. How do you bounce back from that?
I guess I would go off my advice. You know what you're capable of. Having that self-confidence is helps a lot. But I will say it does get to me. I mean, it's easy because it's easy to say the stuff that I say now in my seat because I mean we still deal with it, and I think now that we've dealt with it for so long, so many like 14 plus years of that same stuff, of just people saying stuff. You kind of I hate to say this, but you essentially like get numb to it, but you find different ways. You, like Lynn said, you surround yourself with people who support you. I mean, I can tell you my freshman year, I was on the phone with my parents almost after every single game. This past year was kind of rough too. I was on the phone with our old AU coaches, our friends, and just trying to rant to them, to tell them like what else can I do? I'm putting my heart and soul into this game, and it's just nobody's giving the respect that Lynn and I deserve. And so I think the biggest thing to keep that confidence, to bounce back from that, is to remind yourself like I'm here for a reason. And also, reminding yourself that there's people out there that you're playing for. I play for my family. Like this is who I'm playing for, and they believe in us. And so, just continuing to believe in yourself. I know that's the hardest part to say. It's easier said than done, but it starts with yourself.
Absolutely. And you guys have had tremendous careers, and I'm sure this senior year is going to be the best year that you guys had. What are your goals in the next 5 years, Lynn? I mean, where do you guys see yourself? Do you see yourself in the basketball space? Do you see yourself doing what are your goals and dreams?
In the next 5 years, I've said to my parents that I want to continue playing basketball for as long as I can. I think I love the sport so much that I can't really imagine my life without it. And what more could I ask for? Just waking up as a job, just waking up and just go hoop. That's something I want to do, and being able to travel the world, immerse myself in different cultures and learn from different people. And I think that's one thing that's really special about basketball, is that it's a universal sport. It's given me the chance to meet different people from different backgrounds and hear about their stories. And I want to continue doing that for as long as I can.
How about you, Lynn?
Oh man, I'm on the same boat. I do want to travel the world, and I want to experience like just being able to play professional basketball. And then just like Lee said, I feel like that's the dream, just to wake up, play basketball, and live life. So the next 5 years, I definitely want to pursue basketball for as long as I can, and then after that, we'll see.
Awesome. Well, you guys have been so generous with your time. This is the last and final question. I'm just thinking about it because I'm quite a bit older than you guys. I'm 36. But
that's not old, Coach.
What impact do you guys want to have on the world? Lynn, why don't you start off, since
The impact I want is just I just want to continue inspiring the Asian community, and I just want to see like us grow together in the sport of basketball, and I know we can. So I just continue inspiring the younger generation. Even if it's not basketball, I know some people have different passions, and we struggle differently. We should struggle differently in anything that we try to pursue. So I just want to keep on inspiring them to keep on pushing, and for them to remember that they're not alone.
Awesome. Lee, how about you?
Oh, that's a good one. But I think one thing, I love to read a lot of Jeremy Lin's articles. I mean, he's expressed some of these struggles that we've gone through, and he said one of his articles said that, you know, our goal as a community is to continue to pave ways for each other, pave way for the younger generation to continue doing what we do, so that they don't have to struggle in the ways that we do. And one of the things he said was our main mission, or main mission would be to get our foot in the door so our people can know that it's possible, and to continue to break, and, you know, as soon as we're in the door, you know, break down that door and bring people up so we can grow together. And I think that really stuck with me because, you know, I think we need to pave way for the younger generation and also bring people up while we're at it, because, you know, that's how we grow as a community.
Excellent. That's so good. Well, I mean, you guys are paving the way. You guys are playing a big part in that. And again, my girls admire you guys so much. And there's girls all over the world that admire you guys. So thank you for being shining examples of what is possible for our people. And I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having us, Coach. I mean, without you, like you're telling us your story, like without you paving the way and being an opportunity for the girls, for your girls, I mean, none of this would be possible.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Again, I really appreciate you guys coming onto the show. For the next week, I'm going to be the coolest coach there is around. So I'm very, very thankful. And I'm glad we were able to make this happen. So guys, so thank you very much.
Thank you for having us, Coach.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you guys so much. All right, guys, we will talk to you next week. Guys, just hold the line.